thank you for joining me today. I'm Joe DiMatteo Jr., Doctor of Pharmacy, Certified Clinical Nutritionist. Today it is with great excitement that I would like to introduce and tell you about our new Omega-3 product, Omega-3 Complete. It will be replacing our current Omega-800. It's a product that we've had for many years. It was not an easy decision to replace it at first, but once I dug into the research, I knew it was a move that, quite frankly, we had to make. So I will have another video available pretty soon here where I talk about omega-3s overall, go into what they do in the body, why we need them both in diet and in supplements, teach you a little bit more about what they do, why we need them, why maybe we do or do not need to supplement with them. But today, because we're changing over such a critical core product, I want to stick to product today and ultimately answer the critical question of why are we changing it. We already carried a very high omega-3 product. A lot goes into making a high-quality omega product. We'll go into that here. So again, you may be asking what makes up a high-quality omega. Well, it's sourced properly, it's extracted properly, it's in the proper form for your body to absorb, it's properly labeled, free of contaminants, and then that final product is assayed or tested by a third party, not the manufacturer, not a retailer, but a third party. So first and foremost, and I will go into further detail here about all those things I just mentioned, we changed none of those things. None of those things that I just mentioned that make up a core omega product are changing. So bear with me here a little bit. This first part is going to be really talking about that they're both the same, but I assure you by the end, you will see why we changed, and I'll go into detail about that. So a quality omega, again, must be sourced properly. Fish from cold, fresh waters. In this case, the fish are anchovies. From a coastline that has limited industrialization. That's where you need to start, okay? So our source, this specific product, is off the Chilean coast. It's considered to be one of the least industrialized coastlines in the world. Of course, Nordic sources are great too. That's what we always hear about. We're not claiming that the Chilean coast is more superior, but we are claiming it's at least of equal quality, all right? So once you've got the proper source, the proper fish, you've got to extract it properly and turn it into the proper form to be able to start to make that fish into a product. So this product, the Omega-3 Complete, is still molecularly distilled. It's a type of vacuum distillation. It is the gold standard of oil purification. It leaves a product that is free of heavy metals, pesticides, PCBs, and other contaminants. It is still the triglyceride form, which is the bioidentical form that is found in nature. The body prefers this form. It provides maximum absorption versus what you'll commonly see as the ethyl ester form. In fact, the triglyceride form is 70% more absorbed than the ethyl ester form, according to studies. So the product, once you get the source, once you get these anchovies, it undergoes many steps in the process of purification, including molecular distillation, like I mentioned, but also deodorization, cold filtration, clay filtering, and a very critical step of ethylation. This essentially breaks up the omega-3 triglyceride, the natural form, up into its fatty acid components. I'm going to get too technical here, but it breaks up the omega-3 triglyceride, and it does that so that you can maximize the parts that allow it to have more EPA and DHA on each triglyceride complex. So you're just kind of saturating the triglyceride complex with EPA and DHA. It's also needed and also helpful to be able to maximize some of the filtration steps that I had mentioned. So then what we do, though, it's an extra step, we turn it back into the triglyceride. Because you're saying, well, you just said it was triglyceride, now you broke it apart. Well, it's broken apart to saturate it with EPA and DHA, but then we take the extra step and we put it back into the triglyceride form. That process is called glycerolysis, all right? So again, that's an extra step than ethyl ester forms, whether it's a supplement or Lovesa like the prescription product, okay? So again, to recap, multiple purifications and filtration steps. We're turning the natural triglyceride into its free fatty acid form. We're purifying it, saturating it, and turning it back into the triglyceride, okay? This triglyceride form, again, is the highest absorption possible. It is the most natural and bioidentical form. So along those lines, there's Lovesa. which is a prescription product. It is in the ethyl ester form. The product overall, it's been important, and I think it's critical because it's shown non-believers in natural medicine, namely pharma, that some of these nutraceuticals that we've been talking about for decades actually can be beneficial. So they left it in the ethyl ester form, still get some benefit from it. My assumption is that it's in the ethyl ester form due to patent issues. They were able to get it patented in ethyl ester because that's not the natural form. They were not able to in triglyceride. I don't know that for a fact, but I feel that's kind of a reasonable assumption in terms of why they left it that way, whenever the science purely shows that triglyceride form is more absorbed. So now you've got the right source, you've got it extracted properly, you've got it in the triglyceride form, nice and saturated with EPA and DHA, but the product's only going to have benefit when there's a proper amount of EPA and DHA. So we want to have it be therapeutic levels, and we want to make the bottle show and break down what those therapeutic levels are of EPA and DHA, okay? Not just generic, quotes. Sometimes you'll just see omega fish oil, or you'll see a lot of, a very high number quoted of fish oil, and then low numbers of EPA and DHA. And on our label, you will see that it is documented the EPA and DHA content. So then from there, you've got this label that you're hanging your hat on. Well, how do you know what's really in there? So again, we have a third party that validates not only the EPA and DHA content that are on that bottle, but also validates that there are no heavy metals, there's no mercury, there's no pesticides, there's no PCBs, there's no impurities that may have been found in those fish whenever they were being sourced. They're not in the bottle. You're making sure that you're testing it. And again, it's not the manufacturer that's doing it, it's a third party, and that's all they do is test various products for not only validation of what's on their label, but also to make sure that it's pure and that it's not harmful. So the other critical thing I believe that's done is that the product not just be validated right whenever you make it, but you validate it later on down the line, specifically as it gets closer to expiration date. What good's a product that right off the assembly line is reflected by a third-party assay as being pure, etc. But 8 to 10 months later, it's degraded because of the way it's encapsulated or bottled. So we have ours tested, down line. Okay. So again, just a quick recap here: the right source of fish from the right area. You extract it properly. You get it into the triglyceride form that your body can absorb. You make sure there's EPA and DHA levels in there that are therapeutically significant. Your bottle breaks that out for you. You have a company check that and go over that and document all that for you. Now you know you've got a quality omega, and like I said, a lot goes into that. That's without even going into all the detail of all the filtration steps. I just kind of named those for you. So given all that, Omega 800 was a quality product. This one's a quality product. I'm saying all that's the same. So why did we change? So first off, there's 100 milligrams more of DHA per capsule in the Omega-3 Complete. The EPA does stay the same, but 100 more DHA is very significant. We're going from 290 milligram to 390 milligram, which is percentage-wise a very significant upgrade. We're very happy to be able to do that. However, our main reason for changing and why we're so excited about it, and I felt like we had to do it, was DPA, or docosahexaenoic acid. It's very close in chemical structure to docosahexaenoic acid, or DHA. That is included in this Omega-3 Complete. It's a specific type of Omega-3. It is pretty new in terms of research and information on it. We're continually finding out more. But DPA, its critical feature, even though it's not as valuable standalone as EPA and DHA, and that's still the core, it is a reservoir for EPA and DHA in the body. It is a precursor. So when you take in DPA, your body can not only convert it into EPA and DHA, but if you're already taking in EPA and DHA, that's not that critical. So you say, well, it's a precursor. Why is that a big deal? Well, it's because it can be stored. So now you're taking in this DPA, your body can store it, and then your body can draw on that and convert it to EPA and DHA when it is needed. Okay, that is the critical differentiating factor. DPA converts directly into DHA and then can retro-convert to EPA via its conversion to DHA. The body stores the DPA in the brain, eyes, breast, and liver. That's all documented. And again, it can then convert it from those stores into EPA and DHA. So the body does not store, that's critical because the body does not store EPA and DHA on its own. There's some controversial belief that maybe in membranes or as precursors to prostaglandins and leukotrienes, it can be stored just in that area for that purpose, and that may be true, but we do know that there's no EPA and DHA circulating at all times or stored available for use at all times outside of what we now know that DPA can function as. Okay, so that's the critical piece here. And ultimately answers the question of why we changed. Okay, so maybe you're up and down with your dietary intake of fish, or maybe even your supplement intake. You're on and off. You miss a lot of days, or even if it's down as far as ideally you take an omega product twice a day, and you're only taking it once a day. Whatever it is, now when you've got this DPA in there, you've got this on board. It allows your body to have those stores. It allows your body to have more EPA and DHA available to it as you go along. In broad, general terms, when you take a drug, it's manufactured and made and designed to last in your body for a long period of time. A vitamin, a mineral, or whenever you eat it something, your body typically uses it and passes it. It doesn't store it away for future use. Yes, there are major exceptions, vitamin D and fat-soluble vitamins, maybe B12. You do store some minerals in bones for extreme metabolic issues, but generally, you're taking B vitamins, you're taking herbs, you're taking vitamin C, you're taking fish oil. Your body's not storing these things. You're taking it, and it can use it while it's kind of being processed through the body, but it's not available for you down line. DPA solves that. That remedies the short-acting life of EPA and DHA, and we feel that is just absolutely critical. So the DPA content will be listed right on the bottle. It's very rare in the supplement industry. I'm not sure of anybody else that does it, quite frankly. It is not a mega dose, but something that you're taking daily will add up over time, contribute to those stores, and allow you, again, to use it for later. I feel it really sets this omega-3 product apart, and why it's quite frankly called Omega-3 Complete. So one little fact or tidbit, kind of as I was researching and processing this and really coming to terms with that we might change, was that breast milk contains very high levels of DPA. We know that breast milk contains a lot of, quote, fish oil, which ultimately just means EPA and DHA, but now we found that actually DPA levels in breast milk are as high as DHA and higher than EPA. So think about DHA is the critical building block of brain tissue in a developing baby. Brain tissue, skin tissue, cell membranes, neurological development, signaling, and developmental neurological tissue. And there's as much DPA in there as DHA. Why? Because it's the reservoir that we're talking about. So now in between meals, in between feedings, the body can have that DHA available for use by these DPA stores. And to me, that really just kind of sealed the deal, knowing that God's natural food for growing children, for babies, contains that much DPA. Because DPA actually is not found in very high amounts at all in your typical fish that you talk about consuming, tuna, salmon, etc., even anchovy. It's not found in high amounts. We can extract it and make sure it's in there and maximize it, but it's not found in high amounts in the diet. So again, that's why I ended up calling this Omega-3 Complete. We feel it's the fitting answer. So again, on one hand, I was very hesitant to change such a core product, one that we've had great success with and been happy with for so many years. But after researching DPA, and also, again, adding that extra 100 milligrams, that significant amount of DHA, I felt that to keep our omega-3 product at the very top of the line, very top of the industry, I felt it was a change that we had to make. I believe you guys will think so too once you try it. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Joe DiMatteo Jr. If you liked this video and liked what you heard, go to our YouTube page, hit subscribe, and make sure you ring the bell to make sure you're notified of all our new videos and content.